Hey there, this is Jacob Guyman, and this is another episode of How to Manage Your Database Better. Today, we're going to talk about troubleshooting database issues. Nobody likes when their computers are slow. Nobody does. Especially when you're busy and you have things to do and it just isn't working, and that is no different for businesses. Business systems can be slow a lot of times, but here are some ways that you can improve your business database connections. Starting off, here are some basics. First off, you're going to want to test your internet, your hardware, and your application. You can test your internet by doing something called a ping. A ping is where you send small packets of data to a specific server and it will tell you the time in which the data is returned. If you are noticing some abnormally long ping times, it might be appropriate to try resetting your router and or hardware that is being run and talk to your internet service provider. It could also signal that there are some other issues going on with your database hardware or software. It is also possible that your hardware could be having issues. If your hardware is older or has not been configured or set up properly, it can cause issues. Also, if it is the wrong type of hardware for the job, it can also give you some serious issues. So remember, always use the right tool for the job. Previously, we had also talked about having your data access layer, and inside there you would have your connectivity. Now it is also important to make sure that your data application is configured properly. For example, in C# there is an application.config file, and that is a file that you need to set your database connections and environments and make sure they are set up properly. Failure to do so can cause database issues, slowness, and even an inability to connect. Queries are the bread and butter of any database system. A query is a tool used to return data from specific tables and can even be stored as functions or stored procedures. However, if a query is not written properly, it can cause some major database issues. For example, a common concept in database management is ACID. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. The focus of this strategy is to preserve the integrity of data as it is transferred during transactions. One of the rules of isolation is that one transaction must run at one time. You cannot run multiple transactions on the same tables. If two different programs or queries would also like to access that data, one must wait till the other is finished. If a preceding query is running slowly, that can cause all other queries following it to not run as quickly. Here are some tips to help queries run a lot faster. First and foremost, feel free to use indexes. Indexes are a unique key value that allows data to be retrieved much quicker. Also, be as specific as possible when writing a query. Instead of doing select star for all of them, make sure you include specific columns like select user email. The more possibilities or the more calculations that a database has to do, the more memory it will take. A tip to help avoid loss of memory is to avoid using the wildcard character in front of a statement that you're using a like on as well. And here's a pro tip for you. If you aren't sure how the query is going to execute on your database, use the database execution plan. SQL Server has a native way to generate this. It will show the order in which tables will be accessed and how the information will be retrieved. In conclusion, database troubles can be a pain. However, these can be mitigated by understanding your physical connectivity, managing your software, your hardware, and your queries. Thanks again for watching. That's all I have for now. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave it down below. If you would like to learn more about some of the sources that I've used, please click on my Drive link below and tune in next week for another one.